Hi, my name's Cheese, and welcome to another Fossil Sweeper Progress Update video. If you haven't heard of the project before, you can find an overview here, but the TLDR is, it's like Minesweeper, but you're digging up fossils, and you get to build skeletons out of the stuff you find. For the past month or so, I've been continuing to work on mount-related stuff for the museum phase. Peter has put together a new music track, which we're currently using for the scrubland biome. I like how this piece turned out, although it highlights that this biome's temporary environment doodads are probably the worst in the game right now. Building on the items discussed in the previous video, I've continued to work on specimen placement. For now, I've defined little regions around a skeleton's feet, and checked to make sure that that's within a mount's placement area, as it's moved and rotated. This is a little more janky than I was hoping, and if I can't get it behaving better, I'll switch to using boundary colliders and use the physics engine's move and collide function instead. I finally replaced the spherical placeholder colliders for skeletons. To keep things quick and simple, I used Blender's skin modifier to make a low poly approximation of each skeleton's default pose, and used automatic weights to assign it to the skeleton's skeleton or armature. Since collision shapes can't be deformed by an armature in Godot, I updated my export script to just save a static OBJ mesh for each pose, which I can then load whenever needed in the museum phase. The upshot of all of this is that when you mouse over a skeleton, the skeleton gets highlighted. It's a lot nicer than it was before. I also replaced the placeholder colliders for misc fossils with a copy of the surrounds mesh. I'm expecting to change that longer term, but this is a nice and easy solution for now, and like with the skeletons, it makes selecting fossils feel a lot more accurate and responsive. The remaining item blocking me shipping new test builds was reworking how movement is handled for placeables. Previously, position for specimens on mounts was calculated and stored in global coordinates, but local coordinates makes more sense, especially now that they're limited to the mount's placement area. I also reworked rotation to allow snapping, and made movement less stuttery when running. None of these feel like noteworthy changes in terms of feature progress, but they get me closer to the final implementation that I want for this to work. A very big thank you to the supporters going by on screen at the moment. Their support has helped me eat while making this game, and I am so very appreciative. A huge thanks also to Screen Tasmania, who supported this project with a small grant. Anyway, that's about it for today. If you'd like to keep track of development or try the playable prototype, there's a link in the description, and if you're super keen to check out what we talked about here today, I make early test builds available to my supporters on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye!